we are making another video. Wow, hooray, that's so cool, that's so awesome. We're gonna talk about my art from the past 3 months because I disappeared, and also what I need to improve on, and random stuff that I found. Also, I have a Lena now. I'm gonna fall. Shit. Okay, I gotta stop this now. Okay, so I know that I said I was gonna do one of the more like elaborate fancy videos, and this one is it's identical in format to the last one, but I live in America, unfortunately, and so I have not had time for shit. But I am still gonna do those. I have been working on it. I'm gonna do one where I do a drawing every time Nico goes to sleep in one shot, and then I was also going to do, what was the other one I was gonna do? Oh, yes, the referencing tool. Ignore that. We're gonna ignore that. Yeah, so I'm still gonna do those. I just have ended up more busy than expected because, yeah, so cool. I think I should make a little like smiley face to put in front of my camera, like a little eye to stare at me, so then I remember to stare there, because I just have a tendency to stare at the hole in my wall right here. That's not particularly relevant to the art. So, okay. So there's a couple things I want to show here. So first of all, we have the folder. Wow, it says sketches, this is everything. There's not enough, I just threw it in one big pile. So, yeah. Then we have the art notebook. And then we have the anatomy notebook. And then we have some books I've been reading. I've been reading Framed Ink and the wall chart of human anatomy. There's not much reading in this, it's kind of just pictures, but I stare at it and go, I see, so that is the way that the sternum sits. And it's, yeah, it's a book. And this guy's like really ugly here. He's not looking too good under the hood, I'll be completely honest with you. He's a little, yeah. Ugh. Okay, wait, I thought of things, right? So, let me set all this down here. Also, I got a new book I haven't touched yet, Perspective Made Easy. So, I have a website, and it's really cool, and it's helped me with my anatomy, and I could wait until the anatomy section, or I could go right now, which is what's gonna happen. Psycho body. Get down here, come on. Yeah! Okay, there we go. Loaded. So this thing is fantastic. It's all fucked up with like the viewing of it because it's on my drawing tablet and I had it on my monitor a second ago, but whatever. So check this out. Bam! You remove that and you can have like a weird little like onion skin thing going on with the fat deposits for the boobs added too. So you know. So. You can go through the muscles and it removes them layer by layer, going down to like the deepest layers of muscles, which I think is a really, really nice feature. I really like that it removes it that way. You can also remove things like the cartilage on the bones if you just want to see the bones, or if you want to see the cartilage with it. Obviously you can remove things like all these systems here, so you can just get some pure bones. And then, check this out, I can go the scapula. Bam! And it's got info. And then I found a really good one for the skull too. Let me pull it up. I'm sorry, there's gonna be another cut because I have to find it. Okay, here we go. So here it is. So this, I'll add this to my, like the resource list too. So this is a really, really cool skull model because obviously it's a very good anatomical model. And then in addition, if you click on these little things, it'll tell you about each of the bones so you can understand like the function that it serves. And it just, I feel like that's something that's really important to me, at least when I'm learning anatomy, is to understand the physiology as well. Because I can memorize that like, oh, the scapula's here. If I don't know what the scapula does though, what does it matter? So, yeah, I think that's the part I really liked about this. I don't care about the cookies, whatever. Yeah, moving on. 3 weeks have passed. We have changed the format now. We changed the plan. We're doing something different. So let me pull up the thingy because I have a little bit of a clunky system here. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Pause. Okay, so we have the critique section for the ones that I actually finished and spent a lot of time on. Then we have the ideas section for the ones I use my head for. We have the little notebook for the little notebook, which has all the anatomy studies and stuff. And then we have sketches for sketches. That's the plan. That's the deal. Cool. Wow, hooray! Ideas section. So let's go with one-shot drawings first. Yeah. So there's this one here, this beautiful, beautiful drawing, where what do you feel when you look at this? Because what I feel is in danger. Now, what you were supposed to feel is like, oh, Nico's afraid to go down the stairs. I'm afraid to go up the stairs. Nico's got a fucking knife, alright? This looks terrifying. This looks so ominous. I forgot that they weren't carrying the light bulb yet, too, which, like, the whole point of this is they're going down the stairs to find the light bulb. I forgot that. So they look just ominous as fuck. But I really like the, like, crayon-y look to it. I think it looks really nice. I cannot get over how fucking scary this looks when they're supposed to be the one that's scared. Yeah. I mean, for, like, an ominous piece, it's great. For what I was going for, it's not. I do really like the textures, though. I think those look great. And then we have this one. So, also for context, this was going to be a video I was going to do, where it's like, oh, I'm going to do a drawing every time Nico goes to sleep in one shot. But I'm fucking busy, so I did not have time for that. And I just ended up playing through the game normally, because I had work and I was tired. But I did get 2 of them done. So then there's this one here. So this was a drawing that I had done of just a citizen of the Glen, just a random character. So when I was playing the game, I think the thing that stood out to me so much about the Glen and made me like it so much is you are going through this very isolated feeling city. It feels like that quiet before the storm, right? Like everyone knows that things are going to end. They're watching their world slowly decay, and they are all just left waiting, questioning just how long they have before their world becomes uninhabitable. And there's this oppressive silence to the Glen and this isolating atmosphere that I find really, really compelling. And so, yeah, we made this drawing. I remember going through the game and there was this house, and I just went in and saw this single NPC making soup in the corner, and it stood out to me so much. Like, it was a very memorable moment for me. And yeah, I decided to draw it. So we have them just sitting there making their soup, and what I really love in One Shot how the designs like make this ambiguous mix of like animal and human to where you can't really tell, and I think it's really fun. So yeah, I love drawing the head here, and yeah, I thought this was really fun drawing. Let's see. And so then there was this one here. So this was a little comic that I was making while I was working night audit one day. So here's my sketches for it here. We'll quickly run through them. So the idea here is it's this like depressed machine guy, right? And he has this opening in his chest where you have these plants growing to like represent his heart. And you see them all like dying and crumbling, and there's this tiny little sprout that's left, but it's looking unhealthy. And so he's just lying and watching his world decay, and he's like rusting over and deteriorating. And then he sees a little bug like skittering across the floor, and it just decides to try to grab it because why not? And then he misses and decides to get up and try to chase the bug. And the idea is that he would find like purpose and joy in this tiny little insignificant thing, this bug, this thing that they're everywhere, they're so common and they're so insignificant feeling when you see all these grander things in the world. And I wanted it to be a very common bug, just a little stink bug. And he finds it and he chases it down and catches it and admires it, and then he puts it inside of his little like chest opening here. And the sprout starts to grow up a little bit as it's exposed to sunlight. And yeah, it's just like him finding joy in that small pursuit. And those like simple moments. And I liked with his design, I wanted him to have like a very, very simple one, so I think this was the one I landed on for the head here. And then you have the body, and I like that it's all like gray and black, and then you just have this little tiny spark of color here. I thought it was cool. And yeah, that's that one. Okay, miscellaneous section next. So, this is the first one here. So it was supposed to be this like beautiful woman in this big Chia Poblana. I know they're not that size. Okay, it's a sketch, it doesn't matter. I was gonna shrink it just to get the idea down. But she's supposed to be on top of this hill, and I imagine they were having like some sort of party or festival, right? And then she is the sole survivor, looking down on like the burnt remains of this and seeing all of these corpses of people who were killed. And just this very sad moment of her just sitting and looking at the devastation and feeling completely alone. And that's the idea with that one. Nice and depressing for you. I thought it would be a really fun drawing though, and I was looking forward to it. I'll probably do it at some point. But yeah, there's that one. And then there's this one here. I was really on a fire thing that day. So then you have this person who is sitting in front of this big glass window. This one is actually based on a dream that I had. And they're sitting and looking and watching this massive forest fire and watching it burn closer and closer until the flames start going up their house and burning right next to them. And they're just in this tiny little claustrophobic room watching the world around them crumble. And yeah, I thought it was a really good idea. The drawings based on my dreams, those like always, without fail, end up being my favorite ones. I'm gonna do this one at some point. But that's the idea there. Then there's this one. Hold up, give me 1 second for this. Okay, so the idea with this one here is I want this melancholic scene, right, of them dancing with this corpse. And my idea behind it was that they felt responsible for this person's death, right? So they're holding on to this like heavily decayed corpse, continuing to like drag it around and embark in this dance with it. As this person is no longer there, obviously, and the body is trying to return itself to nature. And he's like standing in active opposition to this, just stuck permanently in this state of like grief and guilt, unable to let go. And I thought that was interesting. So yeah, that was my idea with this one. I wanted to paint this one because I thought that it would be really pretty, because if you have ever seen a dead body in like active decay, it becomes gorgeous, you know? The colors, it becomes like a rainbow. I'm not gonna show one, don't worry, you're good. But it is very pretty. And yeah, I thought that there was something interesting in that parallel between the beauty in decomposition and like this prospect of like returning to nature, and then the inherent like grief and suffering and sadness that is associated with death. And I thought that putting that into a dance would be a very interesting way of playing on that. So yeah, that was the idea. And then we also had this one here. I had talked about this one, right? And I feel that I did a good job discussing it, but it does not feel like the appropriate place to discuss this one. This was based on a very serious subject, and yeah, I think that this deserves its own video because it is based on a genocide. So yeah, you know, it doesn't feel appropriate to just throw it in here in the mix. But yeah, that is the end of the miscellaneous section. Obviously I re-recorded this bit because I was not doing a good job explaining. So yeah, cool, back to the video. Yeah, so this was just the depressing folder. Now we move on to Little Freaks. Okay. listen, we need to lock the fuck in for this one, okay? I hate sloths. I hate them, alright? Everyone always talks about sloths and they're like, man, aren't sloths so cute? I'm like, no. No, they're fucking not. I hate sloths. Sloths are creepy as hell. So I made a sloth furry. So the idea here is like it's just like this chill looking sloth who's like a serial killer and starts like dissecting people and pulling up their organs. And I wanted him to have a fuzzy sweater and skinny jeans. We'll explain that in a second. First, I want to provide evidence. All right? Look at this freak. All right, look at him, little weirdo. So I gave him a fuzzy coat because sloths have this algae growing all over them because they go down the tree and they smear shit all over themselves so that algae will grow on them and then they eat the algae. And so I was like, he should have a fuzzy green sweater. I think I have a good plan there. I'm sorry. Do you look at this and you think that's fucking cute? Because I don't. I look at that and I go, oh my god, what is that? Alright, and that's the normal response. Okay, look at this thing. This thing is scheming. This thing is planning. This thing does not have good intentions, alright? Look at his little freak eyes. Look at his mouth. He's smiling. He knows what he's gonna do. I mean, they're sloths, they don't do anything, but like, it doesn't matter. So I want you to imagine this with me. I have a picture. I have an image in mind. So you're sitting here and you're, hold up, I gotta have the thing ready. Okay, yes. So you're sitting there and you're in like a horror setting and you run away. You're running into the next room. You slide under the cabinet, right? And you have this sloth coming towards you. Now, I know that sloths can't walk, but like imagine that it can. Imagine that thing crawling towards you, all right? And so you go, you slide under the counter, you hide, you think you're safe, and this guy slowly walks in the room. He starts creeping over and he makes his way over to the counter and then he looks at you like this. Little fucking freak. Okay, look at that. You see? You see? You see my vision? That thing is threatening. That thing is gonna get you. And then, I don't know, I imagine sloths with like some sort of ability to like neutralize you where like they either got like, I don't know, they can have like psychic mind powers to freeze you, or they're just like really fast, because sloths can move really fucking fast actually, so they'll just like lunge forward like a 5 Nights at Freddy jump scare. And yeah, I think that I'm right. I think I'm absolutely right. And you know what? Oh, they're so cute, they're so cute, look at that. Does that look cute to you? I don't even know if this is a real sloth, but it was posted on Sloth Facts on Facebook, which has this one little like crying emoji or like laughing emoji. Haha. Yeah, it's real fucking cute. Sloth Facts from June 4th, 2023. That thing looks terrifying. That thing's gonna like gnaw your arm off, alright? Fucking hate sloths. Look at that. Look at that weirdo. That one, I actually do really like this photo. That one's kind of sick. Like, I fuck with that. But like, look at this. Look at that. Look at this little guy right here, okay? You know what he makes me think of? I rest my case. Fucking hate sloths. Okay. So then, moving on from sloth hate, we have this one here. So this was a drawing that I was doing. It's Naoki Urasawa's monster fan art. So it's supposed to be Tenma looking in Johan's eyes, and Johan serves as an inherent challenge to Tenma's beliefs. So Tenma believes that all people are created equal, but Johan is like this horrible serial killer person. And so Tenma feels that it is his responsibility to kill Johan because he's the one who brought him back to life. And so he's hunting him down to kill him, and every time he looks in his eyes, he's reminded of that idea that all people are equal. And so what gives him the authority to decide that one life is worth more than another? What gives him the right to save one person and take the life of someone else? And I think that that is just fascinating. That is such a cool dynamic. And so I wanted him to be looking into Johan's eye and see all of the people that he's helped along the way, all of the other other people that he's aided throughout the show. Well, not all of them, because Tenma's like a really fucking good person, so he's helped like hundreds of people, but a couple of them, you know, the important ones that we remember. And yeah, that just serve as like a challenge to his beliefs. And then I wanted him to be like pointing the gun into the eye, right? But I couldn't get that to work because there's a very specific way that Tenma holds a gun. The whole thing, right, is that Tenma values the weight of a life so deeply. He is not going to hold the gun carelessly enough that you would be able to see the pose clearly from behind. And so it didn't work. Looking at it now, I think something like this could work, where I could like change things around to get like a little bit more surrealist with it. I'm gonna play with this more. I really like this idea. I want to bring it to fruition, but I've gotten so stuck where I don't know what to do or how to make this work. There's also, I tried messing with it a bit, like curving things up and having the eye further, and then there's the same issue, I couldn't get the gun stance right. I also tried having it like this, where it was a top-down view, but it just that does not feel the same as that. I didn't like it. It just is a completely different feeling. I wasn't here for it. But I am incredibly interested in this idea, and I really want to make that drawing. I just need to figure out how, because I honestly don't know. I'm really stuck. Let's see. Last one. So, this is my new project, the Red Dragon. So this is one of my characters for it. I did the updated version of the designs recently. So, I wanted her to have like a Kurt Russell style haircut, and her to be like obsessed with like 80s rock. I know like a lot of people had that haircut then. I don't know like what the people in bands look like well enough to like pick an actual like person from a band, so I chose Kurt Russell from like The Thing. So I wanted them to like go and get this haircut and be like, yes, I can take care of this, I got this. But then they're like, oh, this is really fucking hard to style because they don't have that hair type. And it ends up being like, yeah, they have to use a ton of product, they have to dedicate like an hour to their hair every morning, like, no. And they just ditch that and end up with like this haircut up here. And then I wanted them to have like patches in their pants, because they're supposed to be a very poor character, and so they have to like mend their clothing. And I see when people, I love it when people will mend their clothing and then they'll like sew in flowers and stuff. It looks like super cute. I love it, it's awesome. And so I wanted them to do that because I thought it would just be like a really cool like style thing. And also they have this on their t-shirt. It was like a fish, I think it was an arowana it was based on. Or no, it was an Aripaima, I believe. So they have this on their shirt, like right here. And yeah. In this world, there's a rock band called Aripaima because I was playing Nier Automata and fishing, and I got that fish and was like, yeah, that'll work. So, then there's this lady. So, okay, listen. I fucking hate cowboys, okay? I hate them. I hate them. You think you get it. You think you understand my hatred, but you don't. You do not comprehend the depths of it. But this is kind of becoming like an actual problem where I'm like, okay, I need to stop. I need to chill out. Not all cowboys are evil, alright? There's cool cowboys out there. Because I need to be normal about this. And so now, I have a cowboy character to force me to be normal. So, this is her, and this was the first sketch of her, and I wanted to have a big ol' shotgun. Hold on, we're coming back to this. I wanted to talk about her. This was my next drawing of her. I really like the face in this one, and we're gonna keep that face. You may be like, isn't that the same face you draw for everybody else? To which I say, it's my favorite face to draw. Alright, I love drawing big noses. It's fine. So, and then okay, it's so cool how you can make art with your fucking head. That is sick. And so I was like looking on Pinterest and I saw these really fucking cool instances where people were like going and like making like swirls and like hearts and stuff with their hair, like before they came down to the braids, and I was like, that's sick. So I was like, what if she had like a slight curve to it? I think that would be awesome, because she would not be like dedicated enough to where she'd have like a butterfly or something on her head, or like a giant swirl. But like I imagine that she would be enough to, because like she's not doing this too. She'd have someone else braid her hair. But like I imagine that she would be like, let's do like a little like with it, you know, make it interesting. So yeah, we have that. And then I drew this one here. This was a redesign attempt. And then we drew this, and it really bothers me because the head, like the proportions are all fucked up, and I think the head is too big, and it drives me crazy. But that's the design for her. So, yeah. Also, she hates Nazis because I hate Nazis, and if you're a Nazi, I think you should. Next. So, actually, wait, never mind. We have to go back. I forgot. So then there's this one here. Listen, you have to cut me some slack. Alright, this is a brand new project. So this is, I thought it would be really funny to have this like very anxious little man, right? And they have this like little room with these huge, massive plants, right? Like they're growing like crops in these like extremely difficult to grow like giant ones, like creeping up on the ceiling. And then in the middle of the room, they have an itty bitty little bonsai tree. I don't know why. I really really like the idea of that. So yeah, let's read my notes here. White boy in hoodie. Why is he in a hoodie? I don't know. Very anxious farmer, tiny little Zen garden bonsai tree. Patrick Bateman here gets stressed out and pulls it down. Blue eyes. I wanted to have those like scary fucking blue eyes where like they're too blue, where they like don't quite fit, and you're just like, whoa, okay. He needs to have these kind of blue eyes. Alright? Giant, like those really saturated blue eyes, where they like stand out so much. And yeah, that's my vision. So, yeah. This was just a random sketch I did. So this was the drawing for the dragons. Oh, have I even explained the concept yet? I don't think I have. Whoops. Okay, so the project is called The Red Dragon because it's about a red dragon. I'm so good at naming things. I hate naming things, but I actually, it fits, it works, right? Like that's a clean name. So yeah, it's about these two dragons, right? And they're sharing this pile of gold, and they're like controlling this nation and its wealth. But the red dragon is growing hungry, and so it starts to like stir up trouble and nurture like conflict and discontent and suspicion in like the citizens of the kingdom. And they've like fostered this cult between the two dragons. And yeah, so it's about the dragon starting to like bring in the tides of war and cause problems, and then about our characters trying to survive through this. And yeah, that's the plot. So these are going to be the main characters here. Have I named them? No. Am I working on it? Yes. This has become a whole ordeal with naming them, but I will figure it out eventually. So we have this lady here, which is the one I showed earlier. And then we have her, who's the other lady, and she's like super cool and awesome looking. I really like the way the suit came out. I was like locked in for this drawing and was like, oh, that eats. Like, I like that. And then with her, I was like ready to take a nap, so there's a lot less effort put in. But yeah, and that's that project. So, I think we got everything. Yeah, we got everything. Cool. Yeah, the Red Dragon's gonna be one that like I continue working on. That's like an actual big project I want to do. But yeah, that's the ideas section. Cool. Sketch time. Cool. Here we go. I can't see anything. Okay, sketch time. So we're gonna go through these super quick because for a lot of they're sketches. They're sketches. I don't have a lot to say on most of these. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of skip through them. This is one that I did for Raz, because Raz is cool and I like Raz. It's also of the character Raz, so yeah. Then there's this one. This is of Rowan. Another one of Rowan, but this is creature Rowan. I really like this one because it's very like, you know, like it's like kind of ate with that. Like I love the triangle heads. They're my favorite thing ever. But then there's like the slight taper to it. It's like, nice. Also, it's got a big tail, which is always awesome and my favorite thing ever. Same in this one, big swoopy tail. They're so cool and they're so incredible and I think they're awesome and they're the best thing ever and we need them in every single thing ever, but that would make them not special, so maybe not. Maybe we should ignore my advice, but like, I don't know, I got a thing for them. There's also this. This is a change to Ron's design. I'm deciding to add like scales along her body and like her arms and stuff. Rook had told me that I should do this when I was originally designing her, but I was stupid and I didn't listen. I couldn't get it to look right at the time, but like I've progressed a lot as an artist since then, so now I can. So yeah. This is another drawing of Raz. Raz is an extremely difficult character to draw, and I feel like these ones went super well. Just trying to simplify them down into like basic shapes, you know, and I think it went really well for it. And I'll include like a picture of Raz in the thing, so yeah, you can see. And then figure studies. I like this sketch a lot. It's just got good vibes. I don't know. I like the nose. I love big noses. Big noses are my favorite thing ever. This is a surprise to literally no one, but yeah. I like the brush that I used for this one here. Well, I guess for like the whole page, but like, I don't know, it looks particularly nice on this one. I had gotten like a pack of sketch brushes, and this is for like my new favorite brush pack. Hold up, I'll find it. Okay, so this is their page here. They are fantastic, fantastic brushes. Like, look at, this is the one that I use. Look at the nice texture on all of these. They're incredible. I really, really highly recommend them. I am not a brush guy, but like, god damn, these ones are nice. They have overlay textures too, and like, these are good fucking brushes, dude. And like, look at this, they have them for everything. They never do that. They never offer them for more than just like Photoshop. Dude, we ate with these. Like, god damn, they are so good. But yeah, anyways, there's this one. This is a sketch of like an old dude I did. I like it. So the big thing, I wasn't able to notice where I was improving in my art a lot until like probably 2 weeks ago. And then I was looking and was like, man, I have grown so much more confident in my sketches. Like when you look at old ones, you can just see it in the line work. Just how much more confident I've grown with them. Like, let's go to 2024. This is the one I believe I was looking at. Like, you can see there's like a lot of, this is like my sketch I was the most proud of for 2024 as well, because like I felt like the head looked very confident. Look at how scratchy it is still though. Like, you can see that I've gotten much, much better with that. And yeah, that's the big area where I've noticed I'm improving a lot. I feel like it's really easy to miss, and I had missed it myself and was like, man, I'm not improving at all, until I looked at that and was like, oh, I am. So this was just a fun little sketch. Is it technically solid? No. Is it fun? Yes. So I like it. So I hate drawing on paper. I don't fucking like it. I've been dabbling in the forbidden arts a little bit though. I've been doing a little bit of traditional art. And so we have this one here. I drew it in a little notebook while I was watching Avatar while I wasn't feeling good. And I thought it went really well. I like it. I don't know. I love drawing like the beads and stuff, though I kind of did like forget what I was doing and mix it with the hair, and then I was like, it's fine. It's fine. We don't need to talk about it. It's fine. So here's some studies. So with these one, what I was focused on, this is as I was reading Framed Perspective. So it was talking about all these weird little funky charts. Hang on, I'll grab the book and show it. Framed Perspective be getting like funky. It's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I was trying to apply these with these next couple studies here. They were very, very difficult. So I was trying to figure out like where ground level is, right? And I used a trick I found from Travers art, I believe that's his name. And he had this really useful video on perspective, which I I actually did on this one where I got physical strips of paper, and then I started like lining them up to figure out where like the things were curving from. And then I was trying to do the same thing to find the vanishing point on these, and then I would draw a grid going like this, and then try to draw like the lines going up to measure things, and it was really fucking hard and miserable. But hopefully I improved from it. I don't know, I really need to lock in with perspective. I hate perspective. More sketches. This is, okay, so this is one of those ones where you choose the random colors for it, right? And you have it like on grayscale, and you put them on there, and you like blend them out and see what it looks like. So that's what I got. I think it looks good. I just happened to choose like good complementary colors. And that's the sketch for it, so yeah. This is Rowan being happy because I love joy and whimsy. Environment study. These are some animal drawings. I did a couple of animal drawings. There's more here. I love drawing animals. Animals are so fun. I drew like a random thing. This was just a cool sketch. I don't know. I like the vibes here. It's just like, woo. We've already established I have a thing for like flowy arcs, and I'll love anything that has them, so. Let's see. There's Nico and Rowan because they're both cat days. So obviously they belong together. I mean, not like together like romantically, but like they should interact once. Where I don't think they'd be friends. I think Rowan would be like really uncomfortable in this situation and be like, where's your fucking mom? And yeah, I think that's the appropriate response in that situation when there's a random child speaking to you. Nico's like a little kid. Nico is so young. Oh, then there's Rowan being sad because I love to make them suffer and I get to draw the ears go whoop and spot. I love drawing that. So, this is a shitpost drawing. If you can't tell, it was the... Okay, I got this. I can remember this. Nyan Neko Sugar Girls. I always mix up the order of the words in this. I might have messed it up again. I don't know. I don't care. We were watching it, and it's really, really funny. And so I was like, what if I drew my characters in the middle of it? And it was wonderful and beautiful. And yeah. So I love that thing. This is another drawing I did for Raz. So you have Raz and then V loading a gun, and then there's gonna be two side characters. I don't think they have designs for them yet, so I was just like kind of doing whatever. I did not end up finishing this. I don't know why I didn't end up finishing this. I think I just got busy, but yeah, I will at some point. But I'll redo it now and do better. Yeah. Okay. This sketch, I fucking love this sketch. It's really obvious why. It's the same thing I've been saying this entire time. It's the swoopies. It's the fucking swoopies. I love the swoopies. You got like the thing I was talking about with like the triangle head in here, and then it curves out and you like tapers into this like big old shape, and then it goes down in the tail, and you got the and it's got the for the claws. I'm like, oh, I like this sketch. I like this sketch a lot. This is one of those drawings where like you really think that you ate in the moment, and then you look at it later and you're like, oh, this kind of sucks. But there is a greyhound up here, so it gets points for that. This is Alk's character, Fidel. And then Alk and I drew drew sheep with big titties, with big naturals. Why did we do this? Why not? Why the fuck not? But he told me that I wasn't allowed to look up a picture of a sheep and I had to draw it from memory. So this is what a sheep looks like from memory. I think it's really accurate. So yeah. And then we designed harpies together. This was his harpy over here, and this was mine over here. His harpy's like way cooler. And I got like a serious like edgy one. Well, not edgy, but like you know. This is my harpy. My harpy goes and like, you know when birds throw up and you have those pellets of like fur and bone? Mine collects those. So yeah. Then this was a Kibo drawing I did. I was having a really, really fun time with this drawing. Like, I was having a great time. I drew the tail, I drew the arm, I was like super into it. And then I looked at the clock and it was 5 a.m. and so the face and the other arm are ugly. But I still like it, you know, it's a fun vibe. This is a cool dude that I sketched. This is a random person that I saw and was like, wow, you look cool, I'm gonna draw you on a piece of paper. And I did. And it was a piece of paper drawing. Yeah. This is a Russian man with a cat on his head. Rio, Rowan, this was a failure drawing. So this was one of Johan, and the idea was it was supposed to be like them in this like, I wanted the canvas to be like really long and empty to add this like oppressive feeling, right? Like they're standing in the middle of this darkness, like looking into it, like unbothered for it because Johan is suicidal. And Johan is trying to erase all records of their existence and achieve the perfect death. So I thought, you know, like it'd be cool to have him like in this darkness or whatever, but the sketch didn't work and it looked bad. So yeah, this is Rowan. This is also Rowan, but crittery, and that's got the cool head again. This is Rowan asleep on a train. This is a cool, super loose gestural sketch that I liked a lot, and we got a couple of these here. And this one I rendered out a bit and turned into this. Got him like digging in there, you know, pulling things out. I really like, okay, I think it's like a really cool and interesting idea to imagine him like grabbing the brain and like stretching it out to where it's straight and like unraveling. I know that's not how like a brain would, like pulling on your brain would work, but I think it's a cool idea, so. You know, I like it. I think the minimal colors also make it look cool, give it a nice effect. Pinterest studies. I like this one. This one feels really confident. So these were all like the warm-ups leading up to it, and then I feel like by this time I was like in the vibe, you know, I was there for it, and it went really well. This is alien booby axe head with tail because it make me happy. I rendered the Pinterest lady. she's pretty now. Well, I mean, wait, no, she was pretty to begin with. But like, there's color now, and the color is pretty, so that's what I meant. She's a really fucking pretty lady. That's the whole reason that I drew her and decided to render her out. I'm gonna be making an apology video for this in 3 years. This is Pearl from Steven Universe getting deported by ICE. Why did I draw this? You may be asking. It was really funny. There's the episode, right, where like she gets pulled over and she's like, oh my god, I'm not a citizen. I'm not a citizen, Steven! What do I do? Because like the cops are after her, and then she like pulls cool moves. Also, what happened to Greg's car? That cop definitely got their plates, right? Like, what the fuck happened to Greg? How is Greg not? Well, I mean, I guess Greg is rich at this point, so I mean, he probably just paid off the cop. Okay, this isn't a question anymore. He just paid off the cop. All of his fucking money goes to just like paying off police officers so they don't like arrest his son and take him, like put him in CPS. So yeah. So you know, we got the thing here because she's an illegal alien. You get it? Because she's from outer space. I'm really funny. After this, she's gonna start singing. She's gonna start singing like, "It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over?" And then she gets sent to like a concentration camp in El Salvador. Why the fuck did I make this? Okay, that's the end of the sketch section. I just wanted to add that if you call ICE on people and report them, unless it's Elon Musk, you're a horrible fucking person. Okay, and it is time for the little notebook. Yay, 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 hooray! And also, the ugly blue notebook. Yay! So I guess we'll go through the blue one first, and yeah, we'll get started. So, the reason that I want to show this one is to show the fact that like the little notebook is all of the pretty sketches. It's the one that are refined and nice that I spent a lot of time on, but I would not have been able to just draw those. I would not have been able to understand them without doing all of these first. So I just have tons and tons of little sketches and notes filling this thing, and I just want to quickly show some of them just to give an idea of like just how much work goes into learning. And you can't, I don't know, this is speaking from my experience, obviously, but I'm not able to just look at something and feel satisfied like I understand the subject. Like, I don't know, I feel like I need to actually understand the purpose and why it's there and try to like break down and ask myself questions. And that's what makes things click for me. And so that's what this notebook is all about. I'm skipping over some pages that are just pure writing with no drawings and just looking at the drawing ones, but like, yeah, I tried to keep this notebook very loose, kind of ugly, honestly, through the whole thing, because if I started to let it start looking too nice, then I would have restricted my learning as a consequence, trying to maintain that level of quality. And so I just filled it with shitty sketches, like absolute garbage. Like, look at that. Look at that hand right there. That does not look good. Oh, I should have done this on the big one. Whoops. And little notebook. Okay, here we go. So, starting out, we are going to look at the pictures instead of the actual notebook here, because I feel like it's just kind of hard to see when I'm doing this, and so I'd prefer to just go through the pictures. It makes it easier. So, yeah. So this is the first one. It was practicing the ribs, the sternum, and the pelvis. The fucking ribs. They are like the hardest part for me so far. I am having such a hard time with them. I don't know what it is about them, right? Like, I cannot get them right. Like, every time I draw them, it just feels off. It feels wrong. And I try to look up pictures, I try to look up references, and then I end up getting more confused. Because, like, there's so much diversity in them, right? And it can make it kind of hard when learning, when things look so wildly different and you're trying to understand proportions, where I'm like, I don't know what I should be looking at. And so I feel like I need to do more research into this. Whenever I start struggling, it is a sign that I need to sit down, I need to take time, and I need to observe and learn. So yeah, I need to do that more. I will get them, I just need more time to practice, and that's the next thing I'm going to start working on a little bit more, is the ribs and trying to draw the like applied skeleton, all of this together, because I've been drawing the individual parts, but I have not been drawing like a full skeleton. So that's the next thing we're going to work on here. So the radius and ulna were really, really hard for me to wrap my head around. So I feel like I've finally got it now. But I had a really hard time wrapping my head around it. I was super confused. I was like watching this random TikTok of like someone like moving bones just over and over again for like 30 minutes. Like, what is going on here? But yeah, the thing that helped me get it is the radius is always on the thumb side, right? And so once I got that, it made it a lot easier for me to understand. So, right? When you set your arm out like this, it is straight. So yeah, it's up here, going down to here, and then if you can feel it too, if you like get a nice grip here, you turn your arm and it twists over the other bone. And being able to do that, being able to like feel your own body and watch that motion, it's really cool. I don't know, it's such a basic thing, but like, man, it makes you appreciate the complexity of the human body so much. All of this, like, it's just amazing, everything that we do. Turning our arm like this, the fact that it's such a like complex motion and so finely tuned is incredible, and being able to do this, amazing. It really is. And so yeah, those are my sketches for that. And so this was the scapula drawings. So the scapula is another one where I was having some trouble. So the whole reason that I started doing these is actually because of the scapula. So I was in the little notebook, right? And I was working on muscles. I was moving on from bones. And then I can't remember which muscle it was, but the video is talking about how it like hooked in, right? And it connected to the scapula. And it was on this side of the arm. And so I was confused because I was like, how could that connect to the scapula? The scapula's in the back here. And so then I pulled up Zygote Body and I clicked on it and I kept turning around the model and looking at it and the way that it interacted with the other bones. And it makes you realize all of those random little things are just so important in just all of these different ways. There's so much nuance to the body. We've evolved all of these things and all of them serve a purpose down to these tiny little bumps. And it's incredible. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. I used to be a huge anatomy hater, right? I can't remember if I already talked about this. If I have, I'll just cut it. If not, here we go. Okay, so I'm taking the Adam Duff mentorship, right? And the way that he explains things clicks so well for me. I have always been someone who has hated learning anatomy, at least for art. We have to like memorize muscles and stuff. I hate that. Evil. But the way that he talks about it, it really conveys his personal interest and passion for the subject and like his feelings of amazement at the human body, and that gets you excited too, you know? And I think listening to someone talk about it like that just kind of romanticizes learning and gets you excited to do the same. And I think the biggest takeaway that I've had is that in order to learn about this subject and like not be miserable every second of it, you need to learn to love learning as well. I think the way that he taught it was very effective, where he broke it down into like these bigger, like more simplified groups, right? And like kind of encouraged an interest like to sprout in you to start looking into those like smaller, more nuanced things and going deeper from there. But I think it worked really well to paint a broader image of the subject, right? So like just look at this, right? And so you look at this and you're like, oh, okay, feel right here. You can feel it activating when you do that, can't you? What about that when you do that? What about that? You know, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that it did that much. And so then you'll, on your own, start looking into this. And then he'll explain like the deltoids or something, right? And you're like, how do these interact? And you start to ask yourself questions, and that is how you learn. If you're just memorizing things, if you're just going, okay, this is, I don't know, I don't remember sure well enough to do this, but you know, if you're just going and like naming off things one by one, but you don't understand what they do, why they're important, I feel like you're gonna end up with something disappointing. So yeah, I just wanted to go on that little tangent there. So then this one here, so this is okay, the thing that helped me to like get the leg is just thinking of it like a really fucked up arm. Like the whole leg is just like a really messed up reverse arm. Like the feet are like super messed up hands, kinda, right? And then the tibia and fibula are kind of like the radius and ulna, except they're not at all, but there's like a big bone and a little bone, so like it kind of is, you know, it kind of is. And then the femur is like a humerus, kinda. Not really, but like it's like kind of like it. I don't know. I think it makes sense. It makes sense to me. So, yeah. Okay. Hang on. We're missing a drawing here. We're missing one. Hold up. Where's the little notebook? There's this one too, which is not showing in the thingy for whatever reason. So, this is the skull drawing that got me to go, wow, I can't draw a skull. I spent like an hour on this, maybe over an hour, maybe like 2 hours trying to draw this skull. And then I was like, this don't look right. Something is wrong here. And then I went and I tried to draw more. And I was like, these ones don't look right either. I was using reference for all of these as well. And I was just having a really, really hard time, which is your sign that you do not understand. It is your sign that you need to sit down and go and learn. This one I cheated on, alright? This one was drawn after these other ones, so we're gonna ignore this one. This is the cheater skull. But yeah, like everything was messed up. I was trying really hard on it, and it just was not coming together, so I decided to learn the parts of the skull. And it made a huge, huge difference and helped me to understand more than just the skull, but the way that the rest of the body interacts with it, right? So here's my sketches from the blue notebook. And so then I was able to go and I did this in the little notebook here. And so some things that really stood out to me, and it's like been huge breakthroughs for me, are the mastoid process, right? I cannot remember what this is called, but like this thing here, like on your neck, the big swoopy arc, it connects up into the mastoid process, which makes total sense, but it's always been something I've had a hard time placing, right? And so knowing where it inserts is just really helpful. And then you have the ear canal right here, and then if you go down here, this is where the spine inserts. It's in the middle of the skull, a little bit back, not quite in the middle, but you know, like right around the middle. And so then there's the external occipital protuberance, which is where the trapezius inserts, which makes total sense, but I had never put this together, right? Like, I don't know, it feels like after you learn these things, like your assumptions start to feel stupid, but like, it's not something that you think about, right? So I'd always just assumed that like the trapezius ended like in your neck, like here or something. But no, it goes all the way up there, and it makes total sense, right? Like, you can feel it, right? If you stick your hand back there, start moving it around, you can feel it connecting to it. It also explains how like people who have a super big trapezius, sometimes their neck will look like flat coming back down from like the back of their head. So it's super interesting, and I don't know, it's just so cool learning these things. And yeah. So then I started trying to apply what I've learned and draw skulls at different angles, like rotating them around, you know, all that. So we had these ones here, and then this one. So this is the point where I was like, okay, I need a fucking break. I was getting really burnt out. You can see that they're like super messed up. This was supposed to be like an angle looking up at the skull, and that is such a short jaw, and everything is just all messed up here. And so then we decided to take a break, just like I'm gonna take a break right now and go get some water. So yeah, then I went and I drew Potoos. I love Potoos. They're a funny little bird. Hold up, we gotta have pictures ready. Okay, so this is the Potoo. It is a nocturnal insectivore, and their survival strategy is to just remain really, really still and pretend to be a stick, which, it works. It works. They do look like a stick. It is actually very impressive. And so some more facts. So they have huge fucking bills, right? They go from ear to ear. They look really small when you look at them from like a front view, and then you're like, oh my god. Oh my god, that whole thing is their bill. And the inside of it is really brightly colored to attract insects, and then they all go, they eat them. So, and then they swallow their prey whole as well, which is, the thing that makes that noteworthy and interesting is that they have this like hook on their beak, right? And like it looks kind of like a tooth, to where you'd think it'd be for like tearing things apart, but no, they just swallow it whole. And so I'm like, why do they have that? I don't know. Yeah, my guess, so looking at their eyes, right, it's an example of startle coloration, which we'll understand why in just a second. And so their strategy is to like open their eyes as wide as they can and just look like a little freak. And so I'm wondering if maybe the reason that they have like that short little hook in their beak is to make it look like they have a small beak, to make it more startling when they open up. Don't take this as fact, alright? Do not take this as fact. This is just me, like, guessing, alright? That's my theory here. Because I don't understand why they would have it. It just doesn't make too much sense to me, but I'm sure there is a reason. But yeah, their eyes are optimized for low light conditions, and they have slits in their eyes as well, so that then they can see with their eyes closed. So during the day, their eyes are almost always closed. And then they don't have nests as well. They just lay eggs on like a branch of a tree. So yeah, so these are my drawings of them, right? So when they feel threatened, their pupils get really small, and And let me pull up a picture, right? Because this looks like such a wacky, goofy drawing, right? I feel like I captured it pretty well, you know? They're such funny birds. Look at that. Look at that. And this right here is how they stay alive, is just opening those eyes so wide that animals will just be like, what a fucking weird little creature, and they just get like freaked out by this and they don't eat them. Which, it's crazy to me that this works, is that they just survive by looking so freaky. Like, yeah. They also have the black-eyed variation here. You know, also very good, also very high quality. And this is them looking like a stick, like I was talking about. Like, they're fucking good at it. Really fucking good at it. Look at this. Look at this, that's just a stick. That is just a stick. It's impressive. It's very impressive. Also, I really highly recommend the Animalogic video on them. That's where I found the funny little birds. That's a really fucking cute one. Oh wait, no, what it was is I saw this picture on Pinterest and I was like, that's adorable. And so then I looked them up and I found the Animalogic thing, and they're better than I ever imagined. So, yeah, they have a great video talking about them. Look at that. Look at how big that beak is. It's huge. It's huge. It's just like a little vortex, right? Listen, the beak is so hard to draw because it's like a fucked up little pancake just like slapped on their face, right? Look at this. Look at these weird little angles and stuff. It's so difficult to draw because it looks fucked up to begin with. Like, that already looks like a bad drawing, but like they were really good at rendering. Like, they're such weird little funny birds. I love them. So, you know, we have these drawings as well, the final few, and then that concludes the Potoo section. Then we just have like 3 more sketches. So, for the sake of honesty, I have included these. They're fucking ugly. They were the failure drawings, but I've made an oath. I don't think this is even like an actual promise I've made to anybody, but I've made it to myself that I will show every drawing. And so, I will show every drawing. Even when it looks like that. I messed up real bad. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Well, it's a learning experience. Now I know that I should maybe plan things out ahead of time instead of just going with it on this small piece of paper. It was bad. It was really bad. It was, I'm trying to shift the blame off of myself and make myself seem like cooler than I am. No, this was just a failure. There's this one. This one's fine. I don't have a problem with this one. This one though. Yeah, we're gonna go back to the Potoos. We're gonna end on the Potoos because I have pretty Potoo drawings. Wow, look at that! Incredible. that's the end of the little notebook. So, yeah. Okay, so starting at the critique section, this was a drawing I was very, very proud of. I was just scrolling through Pinterest and I saw this lady and I was like your style, lady, you're cool. And I decided to draw her. And I decided to like rotate her and put her in a different pose to make me use my head, make me think, you know. And yeah, I think it went really well. It was focused on clothing folds with the study. And I was really, really proud of it. I think it went super well, except this leg. This is the ugly leg, but we ignore that. But like, I was just really proud of like just these simple like one-line folds, and thought that I was able to learn a lot from it, and I had to spend a lot of time thinking before I placed each of these, trying to like really study the material and think about how it would be interacting with her. And I feel like it was a very productive study, and I was really proud of it. So yeah. Then there's this one. So this is another, this one and this one were both just portrait studies that I saw on Pinterest, right? And I just liked the way that the 2 models in these looked. I thought that they were cool, and I wanted to draw them. There's not too much to say here. My critique that I will give for these is that I strayed way too far from model. This is a problem that I tend to have where I will be drawing this person and then I kind of just start doing my own thing because that doesn't really look like the same guy. Like there's a lot of differences. He looks much older here and frankly I like this picture better. So to me this implies a lack of skill on my part and I am covering it up by just changing things to match my own like already things I'm used to. I messed that sentence up, but it's fine, whatever. And yeah, it's the same deal with this one. I think it looks really nice, right? Like I like the way it turned out, but it doesn't look like the man I was drawing. So yeah, but I do like it. I've gotten significantly better with drawing happy people. you can definitely see improvement there. And yeah. So with this one I was just trying to adhere to the things that I was asked. So like they had asked to have Janelle walking out of this convenience store eating some sort of like a convenience store snack, like a buffalo roller or something. And then they wanted Intosh sitting outside of the building smoking, and they wanted it to be a moody scene at night. And so I was just trying to get everything they would want while maintaining like a more somber scene. It was very difficult, but I think it went pretty well. It was fun working with these colors because they aren't ones that I would normally choose, but I do think they all look kind of muddy. That's my biggest thing here, is like everything feels just eh. It's a fun drawing though. I think we'll go back to this in a second with my like overarching critique. So this is a drawing of Nico from One Shot I was doing, and I was having a really fun time with it. I wanted this feeling of amazement and wonder as Nico was looking at the phosphor shrimp. And I got really stuck with it. I couldn't figure out what to do. I felt like Nico looked uncanny. It just felt flat, you know, like I wasn't getting the feeling I was looking for. It just felt like okay, you know, like that's fine, I guess. And then I couldn't paint the water. I was having a really hard time with that. And so I decided to ask Cody Paints for critique, and he did a fantastic job. Like, look at how much better that is. And I feel like this really hit home for me, like, just how much I've been lacking, right? Like, look at that. Look at how much more feeling that has. Like, you feel that sense of wonder and amazement bleeding through, whereas in this one it feels empty. Okay, so we're going to talk about one more painting that I did, and then we're going to go into like my big overarching critique for myself, right, and talk about that. So, we have this one here. So this was just a fun painting that I did at night, right? I set the canvas to almost black, and I set my my brush to this really, really dark gray, and just started painting in abstract shapes, just having fun with it. And then, yeah, I kind of just painted up from there. There was no plan, no expectations. I was just painting at complete random, and it was incredibly satisfying. This is the most relaxing, refreshing painting I have done in so long. I love just getting to paint. Like, it was so nice. And I feel like this combined with the critique that I got from Cody has just really hammered home to me that I've been like starving myself of my favorite part of art, and that is it's lighting. I love lighting. I love lighting so much. So I've kind of been starving myself in lighting because I feel like I used to be far too slow when I was painting, and I really needed to work on my anatomy. That was the area where I was lacking. It would take me like days to get something just started, not even finished. And so I spent a really long time just working on that and then restricting myself to where I was not allowed to work on lighting because it would consume too much time. And I feel like now I've reached that point to where I can make a sketch quick enough that I want to work on lighting again. Lighting is my favorite part. I love it so much, right? Like, I feel like you can tell so much story and convey so much character and drama and atmosphere just through lighting alone. And I love it. It's my favorite part. And then going hand in hand with that is composition. So this is where we're going to go into, like, my big critique, right? So, the composition in all of these have been lacking, right? And so I think that I need to go and I need to start planning my drawings again. I used to do this with every drawing, where I would plan it out very carefully and extensively, thinking about what would best serve the message I'm trying to convey for that drawing. And I've been lacking on that. I have not been doing that. So this was my old little thing that I would ask myself every time, right? So I gave myself different kinds of camera angles and lenses and different lighting conditions to make myself really think, so that I don't default to the same thing every time, right? And to kind of push my boundaries a bit and make me question like what I think would work best for this with a more objective point of reference. So yeah, that was the idea with this, and then just making myself sit and break down exactly what I'm trying to say and what feeling I'm trying to get across, and how we can use all of these supporting elements to push that feeling and that story home. And so I want to start using that again, because I feel like that's one of the areas where I'm just very, very heavily lacking. And then the next, obviously, I'm not pushing myself enough. And this is in so many different areas. This is the big one, right? So like with the lighting, like Cody showed here, like I'm just not pushing it enough. Like, look at that. It just feels lackluster, but there's so much more potential for it. And the same with this one, like this is fine, right? But imagine if you had this like bright heavenly light like raining down like on top of them, and then you had these like deep shadows to really push that further. I feel like that would feel so much better than this kind of lackluster in between, you know? And the same with this one, like it's, I don't know, it just feels muddy. It feels weak. It feels like I was trying too hard to keep things looking like even, to where it ended up making it feel a bit disappointing. And then with my posing as well, like we're gonna go back to this folder here, and we're gonna look at this because I feel like this is a perfect example. So this drawing of Kipo, right? Like it's fine like this, and this is the overarching theme. Is like it's okay as it is now, but imagine how much better it could be, right? So you can have this flat side view of Kipo with the guitar, but imagine if you had like a worm's eye view looking up at her as she was like leaning down into it, right? You have like the guitar like pointed at the camera, this cool foreshortening effect, and the tail like going up behind her to create this cool arc going from the tail down to the guitar. Imagine how much more exciting that would feel. Imagine how much more energy that would carry, right? Compared to this where it just feels stale. And so one of my favorite artists is actually my best friend, Alk. And this is one of the things I admire so much about his art, is that all of his drawings have so much life to them. Like they feel alive in a way that I feel like mine don't. Mine have this very stale feeling, like they feel like they're characters being posed, whereas his just feel like people just living out their lives. And that's something that I really want and I admire a lot. He has fantastic gesture in all of these, and it's just so like gorgeous and inspiring. He's fantastic at expressing these like very nuanced, tender emotions and little gestures and small habits in the way that they stand or walk or talk. And I really, really admire that. And I want to learn to do something similar because, yeah, I feel like mine are a bit stale comparatively. And I think there's a lesson to be learned here. So, yeah. I love this drawing of a borzoi too. I fucking love borzois. But like, just looking at these random little sketches, these like portrait drawings, they carry so much personality to them, right? Like, they're fantastic. And I want to be able to learn that. It's a skill I want. So, closing out of that here. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of areas I can nitpick myself, right? Like I think I'm gonna try pushing expressions and faces further and exaggerating things more. I want to try playing with gesture and making these like grand, fluid, like lively feeling pieces. I want to push this lighting to where it creates a feeling. And there's so much to improve on, and I'm really excited to try and do so. And also, the last big thing that I will say is that I see a lot of fucking talk about ideas, but not a lot of application of them. And this, I mean, I myself, of course, I know my excuses, but to be fair, it is because I am so busy and I don't have much time to draw. So I have decided to lower the number of days that I'm working so that then I can spend more time focusing on art, and I think that that is going to help a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna try to push things to completion because I feel like this is the consistent trend that I'm seeing, where I have all of these sketches and all of these ideas and all of these projects that I'm starting, but I'm not taking any of them to the finish line. They're all just sitting in stasis. So yeah. I think that should be everything that I can think of, at least. Okay, so yeah, I think we're at the end of the video now. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you sitting and listening to me yap for like 2 hours or something. I hope that you were able to get some painting done. That's gotta make these with that intention that you can just like turn me on the background for white noise while you draw. But yeah, I hope that you were able to create something awesome, and then that you show me that awesome thing, because I like cool stuff, and cool stuff is cool. So yeah. I have more videos that I want to make. I think I'm gonna have a lot more time, and so I should be able to actually make more ambitious videos than me sitting and yapping for an hour straight about myself. So I want to make one talking about the way that sound and music impacts people as they draw, and the way that they feel as they create art. And I think that would be very interesting. Is it true? I don't know, but we're gonna make it. And then I also want to do one where I butcher meat, and then I'm gonna like try painting all the textures in there, and I think that'll be fun. And then there's like all the other ones I've talked about. I'm ambitious. I've got a lot of projects. They will most likely not get done this year, but they will get done eventually. So yeah. I'm rambling. I should probably end things. Thank you for watching. Happy painting, and yeah, have a wonderful day.